Hello, welcome to another reading vlog. So this will be my second reading vlog in my Reading Rush wrap-up series. So I anticipate that this one will cover Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we'll go over my wrap-up as well. Really quickly, it is currently Thursday. I didn't get a whole lot of chance to read, but I did read some of Running to Win during my lunch break, and it's continuing to be really good. I like the stories that the author tells, and I think that it is actually providing me some really useful tips. I mean, there was like a stretching routine and tips on different like shoe types and what you want to look out for as far as injuries. So definitely a really good reference for runners, and I'm not quite halfway through with it. I think I'm, at least a third of the way through it, and I'm really enjoying it so far. So I need to finish this book by Saturday because I'm borrowing it and I have to give it back. So this book will be finished before Saturday. And then I'm about to go on a drive, so I'm going to listen to more of the Poppy War. I have about 2 hours to drive, so I might even finish it, which if I do, that will be awesome. And then I pretty much plan to immediately start the second one. I think the second one has been released. If it hasn't, then obviously I won't be doing that. But if it is, then I might just buy the audiobook for that one and continue on in audiobook form. This is actually the first audiobook that I've ever read, so I want to include kind of my thoughts on audiobooks in general on Sunday when I do my wrap up. But in the meantime, like I said, I'm gonna read that, and we'll update you either later tonight or tomorrow morning with how that goes. And then I think I need to start picking up Rumors, otherwise it's not gonna get read. So yeah, more to come. Stay tuned. Bye. Hello. So quick reading update. I just finished work. I ended up taking a half day, not so that I could read more, but because I wanted to. And I am about to start just doing a little bit of reading. I'm going to read a bit of Running to Win, and then when I get either bored or tired, I'm going to start reading The Wizard Heir because I'm really close to finishing it and I really want to finish it. Tonight I'm also going to be taking a drive, so I will read more of the Poppy War and might finish that as well. So that would leave me with only 2 more books to read. And I actually started reading Crazy Making a little bit earlier because I was practicing the guitar, and some of the songs that I was practicing are actually in that book. So you'll see a couple of clips here, but I was practicing those songs on guitar and had the lyrics open to reference. Now, I don't sing, so I didn't sing any of the lyrics, but I just had them open. So that was some of my reading experience for that. And now I am just going to start reading, like I said, Running to Win, The Wizard Heir for the day. And I'll show you here, I have a snack. So along with my reading, I am having some nice fresh cherries. I have cut up a tomato because it was going to go bad and I don't like food to go to waste. And then I'm actually also having another iced coffee. I usually don't have a second cup of coffee, but I only had a little bit left in the container, so I figured I might as well finish it up and then dispose of the container as well. And while I do my reading today, I'm going to be listening to Folklore, the new Taylor Swift album, which I am so excited about. So can't wait to get to reading, and this should be a good one. Hello, quick reading update. So I just finished The Wizard Heir. It was very good. I always seems to do this. I get to the point of the end and the finishing conflict, and I either don't like how the conflict goes, or like I already can assume what's going to happen, so I just speed through the conflict and don't really savor it. But essentially that happened with this book. I really loved all of the lead up to the conflict, everything that happens, the twists, the turns, the reveals of all the surprises in this book. And then as far as like the actual finishing conflict, it kind of falls flat for me. I didn't like how easily they overcame the villain, and I just felt like it could have been better. But I do like how it ended up. I like the characters and everything, and I did, like I said, enjoy the journey of getting here, so I thought that this was a pretty good book. I'd probably give it about a 3.5 stars in the end. And I just realized that I don't have the Dragon Heir on my shelves, so I'm going to have to purchase that so that I can continue on. I thought that the Enchanter Heir was the next book, but clearly I was mistaken. I did also get to about the halfway point of Running to Win. I've been enjoying this book so far, and it really kind of lays out a lot of useful tips. I mean, it gives you tips on, like I said, stretching, and then also your diet and stuff like that. So far, this has been a really gem of a book, and I'm excited to continue on with it. I have to finish that one before tomorrow morning, so definitely going to be reading more of that tonight. In addition, I will be starting on Rumors tonight. So this book is a book that I don't remember the first novel to. So the first novel, Deluxe, was a book that I've read probably a year and a half, 2 years ago at this point, and I remember liking it enough to pick up the second book, Rumors, but I stopped reading Rumors at around like the 1/3 mark, so I'm not sure if that's going to happen again, if I'm going to feel like I don't want to continue with this book, but I'm going to give it another chance. In reading the description, I do remember some of the character names, so I have to go back and do a bit of a refresh as to what Deluxe was about so that I remember who it is that I'm reading about, but I'll give more of an update on that once I've actually started this book. I'm hoping that it's going to be a pretty quick read though. I mean, it looks like it will be, so hopefully that's the case. And then the other novel that I have to read, well, it's not a novel. The other book that I have to read is Crazy Making by Justin Furstenfeld. That will be a pretty quick read, and actually there is a Blue October live stream concert going on tomorrow night, so I think I'm going to read it right in advance of that so that, you know, I'm fully immersed in the Blue October experience. So more to come on that. I am about to depart. I'm going to go on my hour-and-a-half long drive, so I'm going to be reading The Poppy War in that time. I know that I have at least another 45 minutes of chapter 24, and then there's another chapter after that, so I'm not sure if I'm going to finish it or not, but hopefully I do. If not, then I've got the drive home on Sunday to kind of fill that space and hopefully finish the book then, depending on how long chapter 25 is. Regardless, it will be finished by the end of this challenge, so can't wait for that, and we'll give you another update when I have one. Hello. So it's been a little while since you've seen me. It is now Sunday at around 9 p.m. and so I want to wrap this vlog up and give you my final wrap up for the reading rush, explain to you what books I got through and my progress, and then, you know, just finish it up with a couple of last minute thoughts as to my first audiobook experience and my first reading rush, so stay tuned. The last time you saw me was Friday evening, and I was just about to leave on a drive. So on that drive, I ended up finishing The Poppy War, which was fantastic. It was such a roller coaster ride. That book had me like so sure that I wasn't going to actually like it at the end, but oh my gosh, did I ever. It turned itself around and was so good. So highly recommend The Poppy War. Honestly, I think I do give it 5 stars. Like, the way that it wrapped up was just so much better than I thought it was going to be. And like I said, it was a roller coaster ride trying to, you know, keep up with Rin and really consolidating her emotions. Like, I wasn't following her for a little while there, and then like it turned back around, and I am totally fine with how this book ended. So definitely going to pick up the next one. Now, not sure if I'm going to pick it up on audiobook. So really quickly, let me just talk about my first audiobook experience. This was a very expensive book. I think I spent like $32 buying this book on audiobook. I bought it through Barnes & Noble, which is where I normally buy my books anyway. But to have bought a physical copy of this book would have only been about $11. So definitely a high expense. I think that I'm going to read the second book on ebook because I didn't buy the physical copy of the first book. So I don't want to buy a physical copy of the second one and then not have like a matching series. So I think I'm going to read it on ebook instead of buying another $32 audiobook. Leave a comment down below if you have any tips and tricks for cheaper audiobooks. I looked into an Audible subscription and that was equally like outrageously expensive. So at this point, I think I'm better off just using either physical books or ebooks as far as like expenditure goes. But from the audiobook experience itself, like I very much enjoyed reading this book on audiobook. Having never done so before, I was a little bit worried that it would be not as immersive of an experience as reading physically is, but I can say that absolutely, I was just as immersed in the book having listened to it as I would be reading it. So that was a very pleasant experience, and the narration for this particular book was very good. The narrator used various different intonations for the various different characters, and I felt like it really added a lot to the book. So that was great. I did enjoy the audiobook, and if I find audiobooks that are, you know, cheaper that I want to read or that people recommend like specifically listening to the audiobook for, I won't be afraid to do that now in the future. So that was great. The Poppy War was the book that I read that started with it was based on another continent, and I read it entirely outside of my house. So I was able to fulfill 3 of the different challenges with this one book, which was fantastic. And I'm so glad that it was a book that I really loved, so I don't feel as bad for doing it. The next book that I read was The Wizard Heir. And The Wizard Heir by Cinda Chima was very good. I really liked the whole storyline. I appreciated how it went and took the warrior heir and really continued on with the story right from the conflict of the warrior heir, but through a different lens with a different character. So I really appreciated that aspect of it. Now, the characters in this book are teenagers. This is a young adult fiction, and I think that aspect of it really kind of irked me toward the end, because when you finally get to the conflict, it's not as long and drawn out as I would have appreciated it to have been. So I think that, you know, being an adult reading this book many years after it was published, I'm kind of diminished some of my liking for it, but overall, it was still a great book. I would give it at least 3.5 stars, and I will be continuing on. Like I said in the last clip, I don't have the Dragon Heir physically, so I need to buy it, but I will be continuing on with the series because I must know how it ends. The next book that I read was Running to Win, and I did finish this book on Friday so that I could give it back to the person I had borrowed it from. And let me tell you, I was very pleasantly surprised with this book as well. I am a person who tends to shy away from nonfiction just because, typically when I'm reading, I am trying to just, escape from the realities of the world, and I want to read fiction. But I do see the value in reading a nonfiction book every now and again, and because I have such an interest in improving my running specifically right now, I think this book was a really good choice. It was a relatively quick read, and the author used a lot of really great anecdotes as far as his own racing experience and his own running tips, tricks, etc. So definitely gained a lot of knowledge from this book, and I do have another book by George Sheehan to read that I also borrowed from the same person I borrowed this one from. So I'm excited to get to that, and I'm excited to apply some of the principles and try to hopefully see some improvement in my own running. So that was fantastic. Now, the next book that I read was Crazy Making by Justin Furstenfeld. I actually had the pleasure of reading this both from like a lyrical standpoint while practicing the guitar, which I love to do, but also whilst watching a live stream of Blue October in concert this weekend. So Saturday night, Blue October had a live stream concert. They were a full band in Austin, Texas, and they live streamed it, and it was phenomenal. And so kind of reading the Crazy Making book in conjunction with that just really warmed my heart and took me back to a place when we could go to concerts and see our favorite bands live. So that was absolutely fantastic. If you are a fan of Blue October, I would highly recommend you picking up Crazy Making. Better yet, if you can wait until they're touring again and pick it up at a show. But I realize that we have no clue when that's going to happen. So if you're interested, definitely check it out. The last book that I was supposed to was Rumors. And first of all, I didn't. As you might have guessed by the intonation there, I did not read Rumors by Anna Godbersen. I think I'm just going to DNF this series, honestly. I already unhauled Lux, and I'm just not interested in continuing on. So I did a kind of like research and figure out, what Lux was about and everything, and I remember, not really liking it as much as I've liked so many other series. So I DNF'd it, and I'm not going to read it for the reading rush. Instead, I do have this book, The Mediator by Meg Cabot. My best friend gave this to me and told me to read it. I haven't yet, but I'm going to start it tonight, so technically these pages will be as part of the reading rush, and I'm excited for it. So I have no idea what this book is about. I'll read you the little snippet here. It just has a little phrase. Ghosts ruin everything, especially your love life. So I am curious to see how that goes. I, again, have no idea what this book is about, but I mean, from the title and that little snippet, you can kind of ascertain that it has something to do with a mediator taking care of the ghosts in someone's life, or perhaps her own. So I'm excited to read this, and I don't think I'm going to include an update in this vlog, but I will continue to do reading vlogs pretty regularly because I think that they're A, fun to watch. I love watching people's reading vlogs, and B, pretty easy to film and also fun to film, and that I get to kind of have a conversation about the books that I'm reading. So look out for that. And she did actually give me the second book as well, so I can kind of just jump right into the second one in addition to this. So excited for that. Overall, for the reading rush, I completed the tasks of reading a book that started with the, reading a book that was the same color as my birthstone, reading a book set on another continent, reading a book in another genre that I don't typically read but want to read more of, reading a book completely outside of my house, and finally, reading a book that is related to a movie that I have already seen. So 6 out of 7 isn't bad. I'm pretty happy with that. and will definitely be participating in the Reading Rush again next year. And now that I know what it's all about, I can be more prepared to hopefully be more successful in the future. But hope that you have enjoyed kind of carrying along with me in this journey. And if you are watching this and also participated in the Reading Rush, please let me know how you did down below in the comments, and any tips or tricks that you have that made it easier for you to complete the Reading Rush. I would be very grateful to know that. So thanks for watching. Give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you liked it and would like to see more bookish and art related content in the future. Thanks so much. Bye.